And lastly, the thing no one tells you about being a foster parent, the sixth thing is no one tells you how. So the first thing that nobody tells you about being a foster parent is you're going to feel really isolated. I think when I became a foster parent, I thought, people are going to see that it's a good thing and people are going to want to support you and, love on you and give your foster kids extra love. But in some cases that's true, but in many ways it's not, and people don't understand. And I find people just want to know their story and know, the drama and the trauma behind their case, not necessarily know and love on the child. I'm not saying all situations, and I definitely have certain people in my life that love on all of our foster loves, but it's a very isolating road to walk. So how I suggest you deal with that is get involved in a support group. If your agency offers them, please get involved. Even if it seems a little silly to you, please, it's helped me immensely just to be able to talk about things with people who are under the same confidentiality agreement. It's truly beneficial. So get involved with a support group. But you need to have support, and don't expect everyone around you and your immediate family and friends to understand and support you and get it. It can be a very isolating road to walk. So the next thing that people don't tell you, or that you don't expect before you become a foster parent, is the placement calls give you minor heart attacks. Excitement and anticipation and just not knowing the big change that's about to happen in your life. I didn't think that every time I saw unknown name pop up on my phone, I would have these heart palpitations like I do. It's a really crazy thing that in a matter of minutes or hours or a couple days that your life is forever changed because a new child is placed with you. It's a really crazy feeling. Third thing no one tells you about being a foster parent is just really having to guard your tongue. Be careful what you say to people. You are under a confidentiality agreement. There are certain people you can confide in, but you still have to be very careful what you say, who is around you. Even if somebody's, making a comment, I never tell people in person that don't know me that my child is a foster child. You never know who is around you. It could be bio mom's cousin, or you just never know who is around you. So you have to be always very careful what you say, who you say it to, and you have to carry a lot of the emotions and the hard things that these kids deal with, and their hard stories from their past. You have to really internalize a lot of it, which goes back to the first one in getting involved in a support group, because you just have to really, really be careful what you say. And people have different judgments about bio families, and they don't know what it's like as a foster parent. They don't know, so you're going to hear some really negative things that you might not agree with, but you really can't get into a debate with them about it. So the third thing is just be really, really careful what you say. The fourth thing no one tells you about being a foster parent is you're going to want to say yes to every single phone call. Because we have the intention of adopting one day, I really only wanted to say yes to placements that sounded like they would be going that way, to a child that really, really would need a forever home. But every time the phone rang, I kept saying yes. Whether my husband agreed or not, I kept saying yes, which, that's something that we've really talked about, and we're totally on the same page now. But, my urge to protect and care for these children just bubbled up over the top, that I didn't even finish hearing what the social worker would say or the placement worker would say before I was saying yes to that child. So that overwhelming urge to say yes, even if logically you think you're not going to, there's a very, very good chance that that will happen. So watch some of my other videos, be prepared for what you want to say yes to, and stick to that. Don't say yes just because you're in the moment of adrenaline with that placement call. The fifth thing no one tells you about being a foster parent is the amount of rude questions you get. And I have a video here, I'll link it in the description box, about some of the rude questions I get and how I handle it. And yes, some of them just come out of pure curiosity, but again, it goes back to people not knowing and being very, very judgmental of the bio families, just not knowing how it all works. You're gonna get a lot of rude questions, rude comments, and I really didn't know how to answer them in the beginning, and it took me a while to come up with some answers to the questions, the rude comments and questions that I get over and over again. And I try and handle it with a little bit of wit and humor, or just simply say it's not something I can discuss. Those are kind of my ways I handle it. But yeah, it's, anybody new that finds out I'm a foster parent, everybody has something to say about it. And very often it can be rude or come across as rude, even if that's not their intention. And lastly, the thing no one tells you about being a foster parent, the sixth thing is no one tells you how deeply in love you're going to fall with these kids. I think I thought I was going to be able to separate them from my bio children and separate that love. And in some ways there's always that last string from my heart to theirs that's not complete because they are not mine. But the fact that they have such a vulnerability to them and such a need to be cared for and protected and loved, it just makes my heart swell with love for them. And the first time they walked into my home, or the social worker brought them into my home, or the first time I saw them at the hospital, I remember those moments just as vividly as I did when I birthed my 2 biological children. And those moments are just forever ingrained in my head as a mother meeting her child. And it doesn't matter what your opinion is on a foster parent being called a mother, or, you're not their mother. I will hear that a lot. For the time that they are with me, they are my child and I am their mother. That doesn't mean I'm discounting their real mom, their biological mom, but I am playing that mother figure in their life. And that love, that mother's love, comes so quickly. And in some kids, I think that love is tested a lot more, and you have to be a lot more patient wanting to show that love to them, but that love does come immediately. So those are the 6 things that no one told me about being a foster parent. Maybe they'll help you before you start your journey, and maybe they won't. But anyways, thanks so much for watching to the end. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for foster parenting, adoption, motherhood and parenting in general, and a little bit of beauty related content. Thank you so much for being here today. Like if you like this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.